what's kind of the temperament of the team the next day, after you see all that activity happen?
Yeah, there's the personal side of this thing's real. It's not easy for any of us. You get to know these guys on a personal level, and you love them. And there's a business component of this thing that obviously is the reality of it. And so, we lost two guys that have contributed for this organization for a long time, have been positive examples to everyone around this place. And so, it's going to provide opportunities for some other guys, and there's certainly some excitement, I think, from that component. But those guys will go on and still have success in this league, just like they have here as well.
But when you trade your number 2 receiver and your starting left guard and don't get any assets that help this year, and you're 1-8, is that an acknowledgement that the future is a little more in the forefront than maybe it was earlier?
I think it's a combination. Obviously, there's a future component of this that's real with the what came back in return, but it provides opportunities for some guys that we feel really good about. For Dylan to hop in there at left guard, and Dylan's going to play left guard, and he's going to play great. And obviously he's had some success in this league. He's played well when we've asked him to play. Receiver room, Vele, Tip, Cooksey, like those guys are going to obviously play more snaps naturally. The snaps will get distributed to those guys, and so their roles will increase, which we have a lot of confidence in those guys as well. And so, obviously I think you can, like you said, you can compete and go after each and every one of these games like we always do, and still provide yourself with something in the future as we develop this thing.
Is like 3 speed guys your preference, or is that just kind of how the cards shook out and that's what was available? Like if you were building from scratch, would you go that way?
I think speed's always, one of the most valuable assets. First thing for receivers catching the football, but speed obviously is very, very valuable. And I think, I think our guys moving forward will obviously have some roles defined for them. Those guys. I think, I'm really excited about his role. Being able to play kind of that combination of, the Z receiver where he can play off the ball and be aligned for all the run blocking stuff, but then he gets all the action game stuff off it. And so, Tip obviously is, every time we've asked Tip to play, through preseason, all these different opportunities he's had over the last couple of years, he's done a nice job, and so these opportunities are going to provide for him. And so I think as we develop this, obviously their roles will be a little bit more defined, a little bit more specific, and I think there'll be some positives coming out of that.
Chris Olave, how much interest kind of was there in him, and how important was it for you to have him kind of still be here through this whole thing?
Yeah, I love Chris. Chris has done an awesome job through this whole process. We're going to continue to build this thing together, and I have all the confidence in the world in that guy. The way he practices, the way he works, he gets better each and every opportunity, and so he's going to be a big part of this thing in my mind for a long time for us, and he's going to have a huge impact on our success when we get there.
It's been about a year since we made the change here, and I think you've seen something encouraging to you.
Yeah, I think you're always looking at your process, make sure the process is right. We're doing the best, from that standpoint, and obviously results are the most important part of it. But we got to make sure our process is going in the right direction. I think our guys work really hard. They progress. They put in the work during the week, and ultimately we haven't gotten the Sunday results that we want. But I think our guys are heading in the right direction. We got some young guys that have gotten better through the course of this thing. We're going to learn, allow a lot of these guys to grow as we go through this process, and so there'll be some really good success because of that.
Just in terms of when to put Taysom in and when to leave him on the field, and it's in terms of, probably don't want to put the quarterback in the 3rd and 9, cold off the bench. Like, how do you balance it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of balancing act of it. We want to try and create some flow so, Taysom can stay in for a couple plays, which we did at one point in that game, and then the situational football stuff, whether it's short yardage, red zone, there's a few specific areas that obviously Taysom tends to play, specifically in, and he's had a lot of success because of that, so.
What was your reaction yesterday when you heard about the trades?
I was pretty shocked, but obviously I've gotten pretty close with Rashid just the whole period of time we've been working together. He was obviously such a great dude, and Trevor as well. I think those were kind of the first few guys I was able to meet coming here, and just through training camp, all through those time throughout the season. So definitely gonna miss them, but obviously a good opportunity for them, and then obviously the Saints as well.
Specifically, how do you replace Shough in offensive concepts?
He's such a versatile threat from a deep deep threat, the kicking game. He's obviously done a lot of really good things, but I think specifically it'll be a great chance for Devaughn Vele to kind of get some action. And I think, we've been trying to do as much as we can up to this point. I think he's a really, really good player from his skill set. So getting him on the action, obviously Olave, Cooks, Juwan, those guys are going to be getting, a bunch of action as well. So I think we have all the weapons, that we need and to contribute and to continue to go have success. So just finding different ways to figure out, what we can do offensively to complement their skill sets. I mean, I think logistically it's tough when you have Olave and Shaheed and Juwan and all those guys and Cooks, so on a rotational basis. But I think at the same time there was a bunch of stuff that was schemed to go to him, and sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. It's just football, But I think just him having a little bit of a larger role in the rotation is going to be big, and he's had a huge role up to this point. I know it's not really seen from a fan or social media perspective, just what he's done in the blocking game, the receiving room, like he came in, learned the playbook like that, his football knowledge. So I think it's going to not only continue to grow, but he's such an asset as a guy, not just within the receiving game.
When you look at kind of how quickly the Panthers have rebuilt with a relatively new coaching staff, do you kind of, see that as, sign of optimism for you all? Like, okay, well, if they were able to kind of build everything quickly, then we can too. And what have you noticed about how they built their team that has stuck out to you?
I think they're an excellent team. I think they've done a really good job of just responding week in and week out with new great opponents, regardless of the situation or place. So they're obviously a division rival, and we got to get after them because they've done a really good job of, like I said before, possessing the ball. Their defense is really stout. So we got to do our job, and we don't really compare ourselves to the situations of other teams. We know what we can do and what we can be better at and continue to be better at, and that's kind of our main focus right now.
After film review and visiting with the coaches, what do you take away from your first start?
After talking with them and watching the film, I thought it was encouraging just from a decision-making standpoint. I didn't come in there and, like I said before, I wasn't hesitant. My whole goal is to just play each play for what it is. Don't make it bigger than what it needs to be. And that was, that was the great side of it. I think at the end of the day, when you lose and you don't have that many plays, it's a bad taste in your mouth. But it was a great learning lesson for me, just as far as, you only get so many opportunities, and you don't know what play is going to make the biggest difference, whether it's a, turnover, a run, or, maybe a throwaway, stuff like that, where you have to kind of play each play for what it is. And we only had those 3 plays in the third quarter, and obviously you want to have more opportunities there. So that was great to kind of watch that film and kind of be able to get your feet wet, like we said, and continue to build off of it.
Was the sack a rookie welcome to the NFL moment?
Yeah, I couldn't close my jaw until yesterday, so I had to get some needles in it. That one felt pretty good, but it was almost better. You just don't see it coming, so you just naturally take it, I guess. But from the standpoint of, like, if you see it coming, then you maybe would change your body movement. But yeah, it was definitely a welcome to the NFL moment for sure. But I was happy to be able to get the ball back and be able to score after. Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about, right? Yeah.
Seriously, good job.
Yeah, it was. He got right in the face mask, so just right in the jaw. My jaw was like a little bit messed up, but it's all good now.
Is there anything you can do for that, or you just had to wait it out?
I got some needles in my jaw, TMJ, that hurt. Yeah, that hurt like shit. So that was rough, but good now. I was lucky. Wasn't too bad, but like I said, part of it.